Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics, the competitive Kill Team 40k podcast and YouTube channel, focused on giving you the strategies and tactics to seize initiative every turning point. I'm your host Ryan, and I'm here to give you the tips and tricks to elevate every part of your Kill Team experience. If you enjoy this content and you want more, you can join our Patreon for as little as £3 a month. We'll get access to our Discord, patron priority questions, early access to videos including Kill Team bat reps, faction guides, and much more. If that's not for you, you can support just by hitting like, subscribe, and sharing these videos amongst the community of Kill Team enthusiasts local to you. Finally, if you're looking to buy some new miniatures or paints, you can buy them through Element Games, getting a 15% discount, and if you use our affiliate link below, you'll support the show as well. With all that said, let's get into it. Yeah, sure. So, I managed to go to Darksphere in London. Sorry, I just managed to inhale something. Oh, God. Should not be
his grandfather Noggle. He's coming after you now.
It's coming for me as well. No, well, what it is, the other tournament I went to was at Sanctuary starting in Ashfield. And Jason always makes sure that you leave with chocolate every single time. And I thought then, when you were talking, I'd be able to quickly sneak in a little bit of chocolate and get away with it. But as it turns out, it has caught me right in the windpipe. Sorry about that. We're such professionals. You're over here with your lem sip and just struggling through.
You should say there are other brands of paracetamol drinks that you can have.
But lem sip is the preferred one. Sorry, yes, right. Back to Kill Team, right? That's what we talk about every week. So, Darksphere, I went 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And they were all really close games. So, I managed to get a win against Commandos, which was a weird game because we sort of ran out of time. I'm not quite sure why we ran out of time because we felt like we were playing quite quickly. And then suddenly it was turning point 3 and we'd timed out. But I think it happened to quite a few people, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. But anyway, so I was up on points. I think it would have ended up being a really close game. I think it was like a few points in it. So I managed to win that. Went into Harlequins, which I thought was a draw. Hang on a second. Am I doing this wrong? Is that a loss? It was a loss, wasn't it? So I thought it was a draw because the guy I was playing against wasn't too familiar with his tac ops. He was doing mythic play. We tied up the game. At the end, I'd won by a point. Oh, that was it. I'd won by a point. And I was talking to him and I was like, it's really weird that you didn't max that tac up because everyone always maxes it. And I don't understand how you haven't done it. And he was like, well, it's because of the way it works. And that the other, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Because I played quite a lot of Harlequins. I was like, but I'm not. It's not my team. I was like, are you sure that's how it works? And we asked someone else, and he said, no, it doesn't work like that. So we corrected the score, added him his extra tack up point, which then meant it was a draw rather than a win for me. Which then meant I got to go straight into Felgor Ravages. Now, what I'll say about this tournament, by the way,
that's how we honour good sportsmanship. Straight into Ravages.
And this was like the absolute shark's den of tournaments, right? So the first guy, I should have said, is Nick Collins, who, if you guys don't know, you probably use his product already because you'll be on the Kill Team scorecard app by Crossfire Games, and he's the guy that runs Crossfire Games, right? So Nick's an amazing opponent. So he's really good at Kill Team. He's also very talented in the ability to actually do apps and design and 3D printing and all sorts. So anyway, so that was a really tough start, first game against Commandos, which I think is a really hard matchup for Exaction. Then into Void Dancers, which again is really tough, and we were playing, I think it was Loot or something like that. So it was just, it might have been secure, but either way, quite a difficult matchup, and just didn't quite manage to get it. Ended up being a draw. And then I was into Felgor Ravages, and I was like, oh my lordy, And it's played by Matt, and Matt's a fantastic player as well. So I go through this game, but I had a strategy of how to beat them in my head. So I managed to do okay with that. And then I was like, cool, I had these 3 insane difficult games. What's next? And it's against Serkan. And you've probably heard me talk about Serkan before, and he's an amazing player.
Solid player, yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good player from the London scene. He's running Chaos Cult, right? And the mission is capture. And I'm like, I don't think this could have been any worse for me as it goes. This is a really good opponent. It's a strong player, strong team on their best mission. And I actually think the rumours are wrong. I think Into the Dark's worse for Chaos Cult in comparison to open board, and this was open board. I'll explain why later, but anyway, so I gave him a really good game, I think. It came down to initiative roll for the last turning point. Had I won, I would have won the game because I would have been able to keep my Robin Ransack guy alive and taken 2 more on primaries, but I ended up losing by a point because I lost that initiative roll. So it was super close. So I think I gave him a pretty fun game, which is the main thing, and made him really work.
But not exaggerated then, because everyone. There's a feeling at the minute that Colts are overpowered, but that sounds like a good tight game, like fun.
Yeah. So I mean, what I would say is that like the game. So I went 4 points on turning point 1 on primary, and then on turning point 2 I got another 4 points, and I got some secondaries, and then on turning point 3 I went down to 2 points. No, 3 points, sorry, on primaries. And then on turning point 4, because it was capture, he was able to just spend 1 on -1 APL control and just run his torments onto all my objectives. And so he denied me, I think, all but 1 primary on that turn. And that turning point 4 is what crushed me. And so, yeah, I don't really know what the solution is to that, because I said that's kind of the way their team's built at the moment. Well, we've suggested a whole bunch of changes that GW could make. But yeah, so like it's really weird because you feel like you're doing it and you feel like you're winning. Like 4 points on turning point 1, 4 points on turning point 2. You're collecting all your secondaries. You got 3 points on turning point 3. It's like I'm on for a 4-4-3-3 whatever, and it didn't quite work out. So I think had I played secure or loot, that probably would have been my game. But I do think exaction have some play into them.
Exaction
so yeah. So speaking of, I went into Sanctuary where I went 3-1 with exaction again. I think I came 4th in the end. So fairly respectable performance. My first game was against Chaos Colts on capture and Into the Dark. So I was like, oh, here we go. We're in for it now. But I just come out of that practice match with Sirkan effectively. So that was a really good game. And this is why I think, for me personally, Chaos Colts actually aren't quite as good on Into Dark, because you can do the really cheesy things, right? Like block off an entire corridor by placing one model just behind a barricade, and they can't get over your base, they can't go around your base, and suddenly you can just shut down one route, and then they have to open all the doors, they have to get through the hatchways, they have to fight their way around. Whereas on open board, they can just like run at you, and at the end they can move wherever they need to move and collect all these sorts of things. So yeah. So anyway, I think it's harder for them on Into the Dark in that specific matchup between Exaction Squad and Chaos Colts. Although it does hurt that you don't get any kills on turning point 1. I will agree with that. So anyway, I managed to win that. I went into Vet Guard, where I narrowly lost by 2 VP, which was a really close game. Tom was really good. There was one thing that I've realised that we played wrong because I couldn't find the FAQ. So it was in Death Atonement, and in my head, because he shot someone, charged and fought. And I was like, I swear there's something about that where you can't do that. I checked the errata for Vet Guard, and I was like, where is it? And it's like, it's not in there. And I was like, fair enough. I must just be making it up, right? So we did that. He hit my guy. I killed his leader. And then when I got home, I was like, wow, why do I have that in my head? You know, when it's like in the back of your mind, like, yeah. I swear there was something there. And then I checked the actual core rules errata, and it was in there. And obviously you can't do that. Yeah, and I was like, damn it. So, I can't
remember exactly the wording of it, but
yeah, it's basically you can't resolve hits in combat if you're incapacitated. So which is fine. And it was one of those things where, I probably should have known it, because it is a pretty, I'd say, common thing. I don't play Vet Guard much, but I'm sure. Anyway, so that one I narrowly lost. So then I was into Exaction Squad in a mirror match, and that was on loot, which went pretty well. I've had a few practice games. So Mike at MGS Miniatures has played against me, and I've played against Kieran before, and I've played against some other people as well. So I'm pretty happy with that matchup now. I roughly know what's going on, so I managed to win that one. And the final game, I was against Chris, a mate from Knott's group, and he was running as Blooded. And again, we had like a really, really close, tight battle. And I think, what was it, like 17-16 or something? It was 1 point in it or something crazy. So again, like a really fun, tight finish, because he managed to kill my escort operative on the last turn. So yeah, it was one of those things. Like, I remember as well, like he came with his shotgun dude and just one shot my leader, and I was like, Jesus, the chance of that is so like unbelievably low. And then I moved my shotgun guy out and shot his Ogrin, and one shot his Ogrin. So it was just like, I was like, the chance of that is so low. So like, we had these like wild moments where absolutely like the weird, wonderful things shouldn't have happened. But they did, So it was an absolutely awesome couple of tournaments, over the last 2 weeks. Been getting together, playing with some mates, throwing some dice, having loads and loads of fun. That brings us to the end of the episode. Hopefully you found something new or useful while listening, and if you did, throwing us a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so you get notifications as soon as the next one drops. It really is the best way to help a small channel like ours. And if you can't wait and you do want early access, we have a Patreon where you get exclusive access to all our content ahead of time. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. So drop a comment below and we'll get right to you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host Ryan. This has been Turning Point Tactics, and we'll see you next week.